there is a direct relationship to living and effect and some of the things that we do to hold ourselves back. And one of the big ones that I want to speak into today is guilt, because this is fucking huge. So just allowing yourself to sit with that for a moment and just take a few breaths to feel, how does that feel within yourself? Just allowing yourself to observe what aspects of your life, where do you feel guilt coming in for doing things for yourself? So allowing yourself to sit with that and seeing what comes up, even like writing down some thoughts and feelings in your journal beside you, is like, what is coming up for you around the feeling of guilt? Is this a big emotion that has a lot of control over you? Or is this something that you don't really allow yourself to be faced by? Because guaranteed, it's like, if you feel guilt in your life, you're living that effect. When we look at guilt, when we look at what it is, the guilt is what I do. It is how I feel bad about the behaviors that I do. It's like shame is who I am, and like it's like the thoughts that the bad thoughts and feelings we have about ourselves. Whereas guilt is like what I do and how you feel bad about the actions that you take, how the behaviors that you do. So allowing yourself to look at that and be really clear is like, right, where do you feel guilt within your life? And why do you allow that to control so many aspects of your life? Because that is what is holding you at effect. And that is what is going to be holding you back and keeping you small. So when you start looking at that as well, it's like you're choosing to keep yourself small, because that guilt is going to be feeding any of your insecurities that you may have about yourself. It's like, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not worthy enough, I can't do all of these things. As soon as you start trying to like break that mold or change these habits and patterns for yourself, you start feeling guilty. Because at the end of the day, it's like subconsciously, we're always doing things to keep us safe and keep us comfortable. So as we start stretching ourselves, as you start going through this program, you're going to be fucking stretched. You're going to feel uncomfortable because you're doing things that are new to you. You are stretching yourself away from your comfort zones. But as you do so, some guilt will start popping up for yourself with it. And that guilt isn't saying these new things is bad. That guilt is saying is like you're changing patterns that have been ingrained in you a long time. So you're going to start trying to make up these stories to hold you and pull you back to where you feel safe, even though you know deep down it doesn't serve you. So let's look into like how we can start expanding on this more, so to start creating more shifts and more changes, and what you can do and how you can utilize the power of this work to start breaking free from that guilt, to start honoring yourself and honoring those around you. So when we start looking at this, it's like there's a specific cycle that we can create for ourselves that allows us to break from that cycle of feeling guilty about giving to yourself. Because the more you're able to give to yourself, the more you're able to allow everything else to flourish. And that is the more you're able to actually embody and integrate all of the changes that we are teaching you and working through this program. So it all starts off with that old analogy of filling your cup. It's like, if you think it's like we cannot pour from an empty cup. So if you are not doing things that is filling your cup, you're always going to be pouring yourself and keeping yourself empty and keeping yourself depleted. So that can go for a little while, but sooner or later, you're going to hit that rock bottom. You're going to feel depleted, and then you're going to need to pull back and have that time to rest and restore. Guaranteed for a lot of us, you're probably constantly going around with an empty cup, just putting a little bit in here and there. But you feel like you're looking for external validation. You're looking for, like, you have tricked yourself into a belief that giving to yourself is really bad. So you feel guilty for giving to yourself. You actually feel like you're worse by giving to other people. So instead of giving to yourself first, you're going to be trying to help other people or do things for other people, because by doing all of these things outside of yourself, that's going to give you that external validation to allow you to make you feel that you're good enough. Whereas the matter of fact is, like, we need to flip that on its head, because it's not fucking guilty to give to yourself. It is imperative that you learn how to fill your cup first, through your nourishment, through your self-care, and however that looks for you. Because as you do so, as you fill your cup, then your cup is going to be overflowing, and then that is what you use to pass on to others and help others around you. Because it's not the matter, guaranteed, like, you're not going to fill your cup and then just sit there being all selfish. You're going to fill your cup and then look, it's like, how can I help other people? Because I'm feeling really good about myself now. So this is where we dive into figuring out what it is that you need for your nourishment and self-care. and what that looks like for yourself. And that's what we'll be delving into over the next couple of weeks, is really creating like your medicine pouch of like the tools and the tricks that you need for yourself and you can utilize for yourself to continually fill your cup so you feel like you're always flowing, rather than allowing yourself to drop into that depletion. And as I said, as you do so, as your cup is flowing, as your cup is overflowing, that is allowing you to show up as your best self. So you're going to be living and being that change that you want to see. That is allowing yourself to show up as your best self. And as you do so, you are going to be serving those around you. You're going to be honoring those around you. If you have kids, if you have a partner, if you have friends, family, whoever it is around you, like that wants help and needs your help, you have that energy, you have that vitality, you have that love to be able to help them out of whatever situation that might be without depleting yourself. Because again, guaranteed, so you go straight into trying to help others and serve others without giving to yourself, because you would feel guilty about giving to yourself. But guaranteed, if you really look closely at that, is like if you do not give to yourself, you give to other people, you help all of them, then you feel depleted, and then you keep yourself in this whole spiral of just low energy and feeling beating yourself up. It's like, oh, why am I back here? Why am I feeling like shit again? Whereas if you're able to flip that and start learning how to nourish yourself and up your self-care, have your cup overflowing, and then being able to share that with other people around, you're not going to feel depleted. You're not going to be such a yo-yo up and down. And as you do that more and more, that is where you're going to start creating more safety and security for yourself and those around you. Like when we look at the masculine and the feminine essence, it craves that safety and security within itself. It wants to be held so you can flourish. So if you don't have safety and security within yourself, like that's where you're going to be acting out in these wounded traits. That's where you're going to be feeling all of these negative thoughts and traits and actions within yourself. So the more we're able to step into our masculine leadership and be able to start nourishing ourselves and honor ourselves, that's allowing you to start honoring those around you, serving others, which then creates that safety and security for yourself and those around you. So you're going to be actually coming up and showing up in presence and in full connection, because you have that vitality, you have that energy, you have that flow continuously coming through. But then with this, when you look at that, as you do this more, that safety and security, all the people around you is going to know and see where you were at. So they're going to be able to know and see and read, is like, this is the person I'm going to be getting. Because guaranteed, it's like, if you don't fill your cup, you're giving to other people, you are up and down, and those closest to you do not know who they're going to get today, because it depends. Like if you're feeling okay, you're going to be in a good space, or if you're feeling like shit because you've been depleted and you're running low, they won't know who they're going to get today. Whereas as you're able to continually develop this process for yourself, they are going to start feeling more safe and secure in knowing and who it is that they're going to receive. And again, as we do this, as we start continuing this, this is where you remove that guilt, because you see the importance and the power of by doing so. As you fill your cup, as you're being the change, as you're coming up in that safety and security, as you're showing up in that safety and security, you can see it's like, this is what it is to continuously do this, to honor yourself and honor those around you. So if you actually don't do this, you are being of disservice to yourself and those around you. And what would feel you more guilt? It's like being of service or being of disservice. Whereas guaranteed, like you have this story in your head, whereas by giving to yourself, that's being selfish. So you feel guilty about it. Whereas actually, is like by giving to yourself and by showing up in this way, that is allowing you to be showing up with being rock solid and stability, being really grounded and present for those around you. And that is why it is so important to be able to do this. So just allow yourself to sit with that, allowing yourself to feel how that feels, and see this one complete 180 flip within this. Because the more you're able to start understanding this and integrating this into your day-to-day, that's going to allow you to remove that feeling of guilt for giving to yourself. And that's going to allow you to get fucking excited about honoring yourself in this way, because you see what that will create for you, and you will see what that will create for those around you that you wish to support and be there and have that safety and security and have that stability and groundedness. Because that is where the magic lies. So just allowing yourself to sit with this for a minute, allowing yourself to feel how that feels and experience how that would be to have this shift. And then let's fucking go out and do it. Let's go out and fucking create it. Because you have the power and magic to do that within you. You have the power and magic to be able to live at cause and take responsibility and ownership of your life. rather than falling into that old trap of guilt and falling into that old trap of living out effect. Have a beautiful day and look forward to hearing how this goes.